Film Diet Podcast.
And then it's just sequel after sequel after sequel.
There was no character development at all.
Just that on pure technical levels.
There are filmmakers that don't want it just to be an entertainment experience.
Hello and welcome to Mid Academy Online Film Diet Podcast. Today we're going to be discussing the wonderful, the magical Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
Really good. Okay, moving on to... This was a bit of a break in Miyazaki's sort of filmography. He kind of smashed them out for a while there. And then he's had a couple big breaks, and then he comes back and then smashes out a few films.
Yeah.
So this was his return, and it's with 2001 Spirited Away.
Here
The
we go. The
film-
big one. This is the one that put him on the map,
This
really,
is
for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Absolutely, the one that put him on the map. Everyone thought, it won the best animated feature at the Academy Awards.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a big deal, and I think most people went out and saw it. It's got a huge following and rating.
Mm-hmm.
It's got, it's probably the most widely seen one out of all these films, or talked about. I don't know, Mononoke in this one,
Yeah.
but I'd probably say Spirited Away is the one that's a bit more out there.
This is another one of those films that, if you're studying film, if you want to be a director, you want to be a producer, you want to be a writer,
An animator.
whatever, an animator, this is the one to watch, because the story beats in this is so perfect. The animation is so perfect. The detail is so perfect.
So tight.
It's the small things, like, the character, they will spend time on tying up a shoelace or kicking the shoes on or whatever it might be. They spend time on this, and they spend time on reflecting the emotions of that character in a way that doesn't really, you don't see a lot in a lot of films.
Yeah.
Where when this character finds herself in this bizarre place that she doesn't know what it is,
Yeah.
you know it. She's freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And they weren't shying away from that.
No.
If this film was made in Hollywood, they'd be like, oh, look where I am. Oh, isn't this fun?
Yeah.
But in this film, she was freaking the fuck out, and they were willing to show that, which was great.
Yeah. And wow, like everything in this film is iconic to me. Like I rewatched this one again, and I was just like, oh my god, how have I had such a long break from this film? Because it's just everything about it. The detail in this film is insane, and like all these films are, but this one, there's just something else about it. I don't know what it is.
If you want to be an animator, this is the one you need to understand. This is the one. And then if we talk about story points for the next thing, we're going to talk about something that are known as pinches, or what they call ma, which is effectively a break in the story to focus so everyone can breathe, for starters, breaking the tension.
Yeah.
But it's also a moment for us to understand those characters. So we watch whatever it might be.
Sen.
We watch 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We watch 5 minutes of someone eating.
Yeah.
We've got that moment where she's eating rice, and we're just watching her eat rice for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But we're breaking at the same time. We're understanding her emotions because she's bawling out her eyes out.
Yeah.
And we're taking that in. So these moments, these breaks in the story, allow for us to do other things, like understand the character, and they're very important things to have
Yeah.
in a story.
Yeah. It's a very, I don't know, it's such a bizarre, fantastical place. And, you get the little frog characters. You got all these strange characters.
Yeah,
Wonderfully strange characters.
It's amazing because it's not like it's not like a film you'd normally watch. It would just be like a talking animal. These animals, these creatures.
Yeah.
Everyone is just so different and so.
Yeah.
You've got
Unique.
this lady, this woman who's the boss of everything with this giant head.
Yeah,
And she's effectively
massive
a giant
nose.
head. This
Yeah.
giant
It
nose.
turns into a bird.
Bird. You've got this baby for some
The
reason.
huge
a giant baby in there.
And the 3 heads.
And the head's just rolling around. The soot little creatures
Yeah, the silk creatures I
Yeah.
love. And the guy.
with the long arms.
Yeah, the spidery arms. You got Haku. He turns into the dragon. He's been trapped there.
So great.
And all the paper and all those little paper things that injure him.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
you got the spirit. Yeah, you got the spirit that is in a bad mood because they've got a bicycle and all sorts of other stuff
Oh,
stuck inside
No Face.
them. No Face.
Oh my. What
No
a character
Face
No
is
Face
just
is.
hating on life and eating everything.
How strange is it? Like he's this stalkerish character that she keeps seeing, and he's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're just like, this is so weird. And then she invites him in. He comes in, and he's like offering her,
yeah.
like trying to, you know, and he just devours that frog and that other guy, and he just like,
Yeah.
oh my god. And then he just like transforms into this nasty piece of work, and he's like, where's Sen? Bring me Sen? And it's so freaky, but still so wonderfully animated and beautiful.
And the change that it was interesting playing on all those extra characters that run the place, and playing on greed,
yeah,
and playing around. They're all loving the person until their
Yeah.
life could be on the line,
Yeah,
and then they
yeah.
change.
yeah,
Until there's not something, you know. As long as there's something for them, they're going to, you know,
Yeah,
do whatever
yeah.
they want to
which
do.
is pretty normal.
Mm.
And it's just interesting because the character Sen, she's such a brave
Yeah.
young character, and she, even though this crazy no-face creature is, you know, wanting to eat her, she still helps him in the end.
Yeah.
It still follows her onto that bus or the train, and then she ends up at the witch's sister's place
Yeah.
or whatever, and it's just crazy. Like, he ends up just staying there, and it's like it's almost a happy ending for that, you know.
It's a running theme about characters that have been painted as villains most of the time in these in their films, in Ghibli's films. They turn out they're not those villains that they get painted as.
No, if it was a Western film, it would have been so much more one-sided, but there's so much more fleshed out.
If they show you a character early on as a bad person, chances are they're not a bad person, and in the end they'll turn out to be good, which is a good thing because there's good people in everyone. There's bad traits in some people, yes, but there's also no one goes out to be a horrible person for the sake of being a horrible person.
No,
Usually.
no, usually. But yeah, we could talk about this film for days.
Yeah. It's a must go see.
It's a masterclass.
If you want to, yeah, that's it. If you want to learn film, forget about these Hollywood films that come out. Watch this one first.
Yeah. And then we go on to Howl's Moving Castle, 2004. So only a couple years after, smashed out this one. And this film is a strange one. After rewatching it again, I think, I don't know, I'm on the line with it at times because I love the first half of it, and the last half of it I always tend to drift off a little bit.
Yeah.
I find the first half so interesting, and then I don't necessarily lose a lot of interest, but it's just not as powerful to me as the first half.
Yeah.
I still love the film, and I think it's still great in many ways, but comparing it to Spirited Away or Monarchy, this one's, you know, a bit lesser than those. But the first half and just the whole idea of her getting the curse and turned into an old lady, and then having to deal with old age and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
It was very interesting because there'd be this old lady. You know, that she turned into an old lady. But they didn't play too much on that.
No.
And then they'd have a lot of moments a lot of sentimental moments when she would change. Every time she had a sentimental moment, she would change back to her younger self.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting play. But again, they have a way of writing these characters in these films that they're good at showing the good in people.
Yeah.
Pointing them out.
Yeah.
Which is always... It's a nice positive thing to do. Is just adding those small moments that they don't have to outwardly say this person's the best. They just have to show small things to the audience to explain that.
Yeah. And I love that, the detail in that, the character exploration and the depth of the characters.
Yeah.
I love Turnip Head, the character Turnip Head.
Yeah.
You know, and I love Billy Crystal voicing the fire. A lot of people found him annoying. You know,
I thought it was fun. You know,
which I heard. I heard that people found him annoying. I don't know how true that is, but you know, Calcifer, and I thought it was a great character. And his mouth doesn't even move really to what he's saying, and I just think it works nicely.
The mouth is always something that comes up, right? Because everyone, in a lot of these films, everyone says, you know, that it's lazy animation, but you need to understand the differences in production between the Western
Yeah.
the Western filmmaking or
Yeah.
animation, creating animations for the Western world and creating them for for Japanese cultures or whatever other culture it might be. So there's a process involved when you're creating a film in the Western world, when you're making them in Hollywood. First of all, you get the big names in, record all the lines, get that done solid.
Yeah.
And then you're creating the animation around those voices. But it's the opposite for Japanese films.
Yeah.
They voice after the animation.
Yeah.
So that's why the animations of their mouths are always just...
Not perfect. They're very...
They're there to give the impression of talking.
Yeah.
But they're never actually meant to be lip-synced as you'd expect it to be in a normal film.
Which I'm more than fine with. Like, I
Absolutely.
don't even have an issue with that at all.
And especially when these films get dubbed in so many languages, it's fine. It makes
works.
sense. Yeah.
It works. Yeah. It's such a... Once again, it's such a strange concept. Beautifully animated. Well told.
It kind of feels like it's the beginnings of like Mortal Engines. It's got that feel
Yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
totally. With the moving castle in a much better way.
Absolutely.
Oh
Much
my
better
god!
way.
You only needed one moving castle, and that was enough. You can have a whole film of these things, and it does nothing for me. Just the way it's animated, and it moves and functions, and it's clangy and
Grungy
steamy
and dirty
and dirty, and all of it. And you got Christian Bale voicing Hal, which he provides a lot of kind of warmth and
the explanation
cold.
of that character was really interesting too.
yeah. And then we got, I don't know if you know Gene Simmons or Lauren Bacall. They voiced the witch, and Lauren Bacall voiced, I think, the older version of Sophie. Oh no, Gene Simmons voiced Sophie, and Lauren Bacall was the witch. Lauren Bacall was acting when Humphrey Bogart was. She was in, films in the 40s.
Yeah.
Okay, she's the golden
yeah.
age. So to bring an actress like that, or female actor, to a Japanese animated film is amazing.
Yeah.
It's one of her last films that she had done. And same with Gene Simmons, like she was in Spartacus, Guys and Dolls, Hamlet.
Yeah.
You got these golden age
Veterans. Yeah.
providing awesome elderly voice talent, which you don't really get much of.
No.
You don't get that much, Even in the Pixar films, you do get bits and pieces here and there. I suppose the Disney ones, they don't really focus on elderly characters that much. Apart from Up,
Yeah.
which is typically the old age film, character film.
Yeah.
Apart from that, how many
It's
can you
younger
name?
people.
It's
the
mostly
young
younger
ones.
people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. I really love that, and I found that really humbling.
Yeah. The play on characters, the play, and I'm bringing this up again, but it's something that should be mentioned. The play on a person who is the same person, whether they're an 80-year-old or they're a young, attractive person, and playing with the idea, playing with the looks, and breaking that down, and the exploration of the fact that it doesn't matter how you look.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you as a person.
Yeah.
And that's something that character is always focused on. And she almost reflected that through onto Hal
Yeah.
too. And because Hal was it's very vain. It's all about how
Yeah.
I look. And she's almost like she brought that growth in him.
Yeah.
That it's not about how you look, She saw him as this big giant
Bird creature.
and she was still there treating him the same as she would.
Yeah. It's so full on, like how they can be such like a, these characters can be kind of so freaky, and and it's always like the girl character in these films that are just so unafraid, and they're so brave. They face up to these creatures or these witches or these wizards or whatever it is, these monsters, and they treat them like anyone else, and they just I love that.
Well, it's always a strong thing that gets overlooked a lot of the times, that no matter what your character is, whether it's a talking moose or whether it's a person or whether it's an elderly person or whether it's whatever it might be, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a zombie creature, the basis of your character should be built on the human aspect.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is. At the end of the day, you're making a film for other humans to relate to.
Yeah.
And having a strong, vulnerable person with flaws but you're showing growth throughout that film. That's the important part
Yeah.
of filmmaking. When you're writing characters, there should be that growth.
Yeah.
There should be that element. We should be able to see their flaws. No
Yeah.
one's perfect. We shouldn't be painting everyone as this handsome prince that has no flaws.
It's
or
like
whatever it might
perfect
be.
at the start and then perfect at the end.
That's right.
And perfect in the middle.
We need these small moments that we can have glimpses. We
Mm.
can have, and that's what these films do. They show little glimpses of a good person in there.
Mm.
But we can see those glimpses. But other than that, you know, we're still seeing these growths.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing glimpses of good and you're seeing glimpses of some flaws as well.
Absolutely.
You know,
That's-
and they're embracing both, and that's what being human's all about. You know, and
absolutely.
it's, you know, and I love that they're not. He's not afraid to explore that, and that's kind of lost on a lot of stuff from our culture.
Yeah.
You know.
Well said.
So moving on,
Mhm.
moving on to a more recent. Well, it was recent at the time, 2008. Now, geez, time flies. Ponyo.
Ponyo. I love this one.
This is such a bizarre
Mm.
concept, but such a simple one,
Yeah.
but
It's
effective.
a very, in a lot of ways, it's a small story, but in a lot of ways, it's a big story.
yeah,
too.
yeah. It
So-
could function as a small story,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
also it lives up to the large scale as well. I love the way it's animated. It's almost more kid friendly
Yeah.
animating style.
It's probably the most Disney-esque one that there is.
Yeah,
With the characters, you know, very clean, soft lines.
Yes.
Nothing too
very
harsh.
rounded.
Very colourful.
Yes,
But then it's still got its own little style there,
it does.
which is nice.
Love the way they animate water.
Mm. Yeah, it's a big giant over the top.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
it. And weather, you know, the way they can do weather as
Mm.
well.
It's interesting because every film almost feels like they're trying to combat a different sort of aspect of nature.
Yeah.
Well, this one's sort of like the water one.
Yeah.
We've had different one. We've had the sea.
Yeah.
We've got the sea.
Sea.
We've got the air.
Yeah.
You
How
know, we've got all these different ones. It's-
Spirited Away was a very spiritual, pardon the pun,
Yeah.
sort of one, and Mononiki was forest.
It's great. It's just explored our
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Parts of our world, which is nice.
Elements.
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett, Matt Damon, Liam
Mm.
Neeson. You know.
Yeah, Liam, he was
Yeah.
perfect for that
Yeah, I
one.
know. Yeah, totally. I love it. I just love it. I don't know what to say more than this is
Yeah.
probably the most kiddie one, like with
Yeah.
Totoro, in ways.
But again, it's very kid friendly. But if we look at the themes and we look at the messages within it, it's a coming of age and being willing to it's almost like a parenting one
Yeah.
where you have to be almost the characters in it are unafraid to let someone go. They hold on to them so tight. They hold on to
Ponyo.
so tight.
Yeah.
And, you know, Ponyo's getting dragged off and she wants to become a human. But they say, no, you're not allowed to become a human.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It's such a strange concept, like goldfish,
Yeah.
you know, licks the blood
Yeah.
off his hand, and then, you know, and that was the catalyst for
Mhm.
her turning into a human, or, you know, and it's, on one way it's so bizarre and strange, but at the same time it just works.
And again, we're talking about the older people. We set up in like a retirement home.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is really interesting.
yeah. Kate Blanchett voices the main one there.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
It's very good, but
Yeah.
it's definitely a watch. It's sort of to watch the exploration and relationship between the human boy and this girl,
Yeah.
hybrid girl.
Yeah, it's so
And it's a
strange.
friendship, and it's interesting, and
It's almost the mermaid thing, really, isn't it?
yeah,
You know, when like a character will fall in love with a mermaid or something.
and it's
Like
the-
Little Mermaid.
it's another reflection on also. It was a great reflection to sort of see the mother in it, the mother of the boy,
Yeah.
that she was willing to let him have these childish moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
That he wanted to, you know, she was like, "Can I leave the bucket down there in case?"
Yeah.
Of course, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And it's just
Little things.
accepting that they're children is sort of an interesting. It's great to sort of see that.
Let him explore himself
Yeah.
in life.
And I don't have to say, no, you have to be an adult.
Yeah,
This is you
yeah.
have to do this because
Yeah.
I said so, and or you know, you shouldn't be doing that
There's-
because it's not what you meant
It's
to
so
be
true.
doing.
There's always an element of freedom and you know, unless it's written into the characters or whatnot. But I always find there's always that element of free thinking and freedom with these characters in these stories. It opens up your mind and your soul and your heart, and you're just kind of like more accepting of things, you know. So they're very good lessons for life, you know.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you watched any more after that.
What else was next?
Wind Rises. The Wind Rises. You watched that?
Yeah.
He's sort of hurrah.
Yeah, this one. This is more of a
Very adult.
it is. It's more of like a biopic kind of thing. Which is, we've always talked about the idea of biopic animations, and there's a few out there, but this is sort of taking that idea and playing with it a bit.
Yeah.
Which is, it's sort of, you're seeing the life of a person.
Yeah.
Which is, and playing, it's almost like focusing on the career too.
Yeah.
Focus on their career and their love, and playing with an idea of you got a passion and how far you can take that passion.
Yeah.
The thing that stood out the most was the transitions. The transitions between the dreamlike world and the real.
That was the most interesting parts for me, because
Yeah.
I'm all about that sort of thing. So every time that would happen, I'm like, ooh, you know.
Cinematography was amazing.
Oh, the way they'd film, animate clouds and the planes, and I mean, he's done that many of it, now
perfect,
that it's so mastered now. It's just.
And then when the bomb went off at the beginning, and it's almost like a growl of a person rather than
like an actual explosion.
And you saw it sort of take things out, and it was just like, whoa.
Yeah, it's
really
like swallowing things up.
Yeah.
This one, when it came out, I was like, damn, it hasn't got any of that really fantastical Miyazaki stuff in it. And I was like, oh. So I didn't watch this for a long time. I wanted to put the time into it, but I just never found the time to do it. And I finally did, and I was like, damn, why didn't I watch that sooner? You know?
Well, it comes back down to what we were discussing before about animations always getting put in the kiddie basket.
Yeah.
This is a very not... I mean, a kid could watch it, but it's definitely...
It's very mature.
It is a very mature kind of film that it's definitely... Anyone can watch this. This didn't have to be an animation.
No.
The story itself, if you gave the script to anyone, they could have made it. But the animation just expands the whole world.
Yeah.
And just makes it something more beautiful. Something, that adds a new element to watch.
Yeah.
Which is really great.
I'm a bit gutted at the moment because he hasn't made a film since. So that was 2013, and every year or whatever, I'm like, what's he doing? Nothing. He's retired, semi-retired. I think he's sort of finally put up the pencil, and he's enjoying his life.
So he should. Well deserved.
Yeah. I know they've opened up a Studio Ghibli museum or like a theme park in Japan as well.
Yeah.
Sort of like a Disney World, but it's a Ghibli kind of thing.
Very cool.
Yeah, so, and I think that, I'm not too sure what he's doing at the moment, but I hope he comes back for one more. But he's quite old now. I think he's in his 80s, so I'd be surprised if he did. His legacy will live on.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've got a lot of other guys that have done a lot of other films under Studio Ghibli's mantle, and some more successful than others. But, I'm sure there's still a lot of good animes coming out as well. But there's something about Miyazaki that,
The thing is, with a lot of anime, when you're producing an anime, it's easy to try and figure out the fastest and easiest way of doing it, especially for TV shows.
Yeah.
So that's why you're seeing the same two frames repeated.
Yeah.
But he understood the importance of animation.
Yeah.
And he stands out as one of those filmmakers that was able to make a work of art that stands on the world stage because of it. It can be seen by anyone as a beautiful piece of animation, whether you're in America, whether you're in Japan, whether you're in Australia. It can be seen as not, quote unquote lazy, like some that a lot of those Japanese
cheeky
films,
ones.
A lot of those Japanese shows get put in the quote unquote lazy basket. This is all about the celebration of animation, the celebration of humans, the celebration of storytelling,
our world.
Everything.
Yeah.
And
life.
Creating films that, in some ways are on par with anything we create.
Oh yeah, and they are works of art. You could actually show them in a museum.
I would say these are must watches, especially if you want to do anything in film. You want to be involved with film. You want to be
Agreed.
involved with animation.
Yeah.
Some of these films, Spirited Away. That is, if there's 5 films you need to see in your lifetime, that is one of them.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And it's not to, there's a reason why it won an Academy Award.
Which is a big deal for it, especially at that time.
Yeah.
Like for a foreign film to come in and scoop that up. Like, I can't remember what it was up against. I don't know what was out at that time.
Yeah,
2001. Surprising Pixar didn't snub it from him.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was Lasseter going, give it to him. We can miss out this year.
It is good that Disney were willing to stand up and say, all right, let's give this a crack.
Yeah, it's great. It's worked out for both of them. Studio Ghibli all the way, Spirited Away. No, it's just beautiful stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, we plan on doing more focus on films from different cultures. We're going to be jumping to Australian films soon.
Yeah,
which should be fun.
Yes, we'll try and explore our own backyard.
So
and
if you know
expose
Australian films, you can listen to what we've got to say about those. If you haven't seen them, go watch them anyway, because you'll find a new world of filmmaking in the Australian film industry.
Yeah, indeed.
Our industry is very interesting because it's not a business.
If you can call it an industry.
It's not. That's the thing. It's not even an industry. It's
Yeah.
funded by us, by taxpayers. It is a government-funded,
Body.
That's right. And so, and we'll talk all about that when we touch on that. Don't want to
Look
talk too
forward to
much
it.
about it, but other than that, I guess we'll leave it there.
Yes. Thanks for listening. Oh yes. Make sure you
Make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell. If you're listening to this on our podcast channels, then make sure you jump onto our YouTube. We've always got videos coming on there
every week.
Every
just
week.
about.
It's at some stages it's every day.
Yeah.
We've always got stuff on there.
Yeah.
So
We're trying to
Come on,
grow our
get
channel
involved.
and get involved and come on board for the ride. And we'll see you on the next one.
see you later.
Adios.